Hello everyone, this is DroBlue and I am back with another Mountain Blade Bannerlord guide. In this guide I will be going over what the absolute best armor in the game of Bannerlord is. And as you can clearly see, I have the best armor on right now within the game. Doesn't he just look absolutely magnificent in that dress? Clearly no one's going to want to shoot him off his horse, especially if looters throwing rocks at him. I doubt they'll ever want to throw rocks at him because of how absolutely gorgeous and stunning he is out on the battlefield in that dress. But I'm just kidding, of course. Let me get into what is the actual best armor within the game of Bannerlord. First though, I kindly ask that you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more content, especially because I plan on making more tutorials just like this, covering over a ton of different bases, and maybe doing an entire merchant playthrough within the game of Bannerlord. And if you're interested in that, make sure to let me know in the comments below, because I'm trying to judge interest, whether or not I should partake in doing that or not. But anyways, just make sure to subscribe. But okay, that's enough talking. Let me just hop into this guide on which the best armor within the game is. Okay, so of course there are several different categories of armor within the game, and let me go over these before we actually jump into what is the best. There is the head armor category, which obviously covers the head, and this is the only way of getting any sort of head protection within the game. Next we have the cape slot. A cape will cover both arm armor and body armor, which is important in order to get the absolute highest armor stats possible. And next up, we have the body armor. Body armor will cover leg armor, arm armor, and body armor, so it is important to have high armor stats in every single one of these categories. And next we have the glove slot. The glove slot will only contribute towards your arm armor, so it's not necessarily the most important to have, but it is always a good addition to get the most armor possible. And next, we have our foot armor or leg armor. This slot only covers leg armor and does not cover multiple categories of armor, but it's important to have, especially when you are only on cav, because you can get your feet chopped off. But besides that, I don't really find, unless you're getting poked in the feet, it to be really that much of a problem. And we most certainly cannot forget horse armor, which is simply its own single horse armor stat, as it's called within the game. And that about wraps it up for all the categories, so let's start hopping into the absolute best armor pieces for each and every one of these categories. Okay, so starting off from the very top, we have our head armor category. The best armor in this category is going to be the Imperial Guarded Lord Helmet. This is the best obtainable armor within the game, as it has the highest head armor stat, coming in at around 58 total head armor. And this makes it the very best head armor within the game of Bannerlord. However, it has a massive and steep price to pay, which makes it a tough investment, to build up to, but yet a worthwhile investment. However, if you want a somewhat or a significantly discounted helmet, you can go to the Imperial Jeweled Helmet. It has a total armor stat of 50, so it's significantly less expensive than the 1,000,000 dinars for the Guarded Lord Helmet, and you only lose about 8 armor, and it's only 0.1 heavier than the Imperial Guarded Lord Helmet. And since I do think this is by far the most cost-effective piece of armor when compared to the Guarded Lord Helmet, at least, because the Imperial Jeweled Helmet is only 8 less armor for a significantly less price. And with every single armor within the game, I feel like there are certain price thresholds that make investments worthwhile, and investments like there's little scales for each and every single one of the investments that make things like, oh, is the 8 armor difference worth paying like 1,000,000 more dinars for, or can I just settle with the other one and be more cost effective? But you're just going to have to figure that out on your own, because I'm just trying to determine the best armor pieces within the game. But that about concludes the head armor. So all in all, the Imperial Guarded Lord Helmet is the best helmet and head armor within the game of Bannerlord. Okay, so for this next category, there are actually two different armor pieces within this category. There's not a clear best one, and this category just happens to be the cape category. So let me just take another one of these and put it on real quick. Sorry, did not mean to do that. We're going to put it on real quick. But anyways, so these two in this category are the Imperial Lamellar Shoulders and the Highland Warlord Pauldrons. Both these items are going to come in at the same price per item, although they recently increased in price overall, but they are going to provide 20 body armor a pop and 10 armor a piece, and there is no difference in the stats or price between these two. So in the end, it's just going to come down to your own personal preference on which looks better. Personally, I find the Highland Warlord Pauldrons to be the much better looking of the two, but it doesn't really matter. It's all personal preference between these two items, and they're not terribly expensive to have, so it makes a really good armor contributing piece to have, and you could probably buy it on as one of your earlier armor sets compared to the other more expensive stuff that I'll be going over later and that I have gone over. But I do think the Highland Warlords looks extremely cool, and once again, it's whatever floats your boat, and that about closes up this category, so let's just hop right into the next category of the best armor within the game. Okay, so the next category is going to be the body armor category. This one is a very close category and could definitely differ by opinion and personal preference, because like the capes, there's no set in stone number one armor. But I definitely find that I have one, and that there's one that I would prefer and call the best armor within the game. And there's two best armor within the game of Bannerlord, in my opinion. However, there is a slightly lesser one, which I think is more cost effective than these two, which I'll also be going over. But the two that are the best have massive prices on them, but they are truly the best within the game. And they're incredibly expensive, over $1 million dinars each, so I'm not entirely sure if you would want to dump that many dinars into this. So I'll be going over, once again, like the cheaper and more realistic option. But let's go over these two. These two are the Lamellar with scale skirt and Imperial scale armor, and the Imperial scale armor. The Lamellar with scale skirt has 48 body armor, 22 leg armor, and 16 arm armor. And the Imperial scale armor has 50 body armor, 20 leg armor, and 20 arm armor. And picking one of the other is a personal decision, but overall, the scale armor has a higher total amount of armor stats than the Lamellar does, although it sacrifices 2 less leg armor. And they are also both the same price, so if I had to choose between the two, it would definitely be the Imperial scale armor due to the higher overall combined stats than the Lamellar with scale skirt armor. However, both of these prices are completely outrageous in my mind, so if you want an item at a third of the price that is the most effective overall, this is going to be the coat of plates over mail. This is definitely going to be one of the more cost-effective items than the two, although it's not that much more inexpensive. Sorry, I was trying to find my word in there. But this has a total body armor of 46 leg armor, 46 body armor, my bad, 14 leg armor, and 18 arm armor. I believe this is a way better choice when choosing the two, because it's a third of the price of the other ones, and its stats are not far off from the other ones either. So this would be my second recommendation for armor within this category, or third technically, but like second compared to the best two. So that is all for the body armor category. Okay, on to the second or third to last category, my bad. We have, and this category is going to be the arm category. Don't worry, this is one with an undisputed champion that is not as near as crazily expensive as the others. And some of you all may know this, but this is the Lamellar plate gauntlets. They have a total hand armor of 32, arm armor, although the type is hand armor, it's still considered arm armor. And this is by far the best arm armor within the game, and not a lot compares to these at all. and the total armor stat is by far the highest compared to any other armor you can get within the game. And it's not that incredibly expensive, and it's a great piece to an armor set, and definitely one of the first pieces you should buy because it will go hand in hand with any other combination of armor that you would want to throw out there. And that's about all I gotta say about the best in the arm category of armor. Okay, next up we have foot armor, and this also has an undisputed champion like the last one, and it's not outrageously expensive either, and this just so happens to be the Bannerlord plate boots, and these are going to be the absolute best leg armor pieces within the game. The plate boots have 32 leg armor, which is clearly the best within the game of Bannerlord, and they're not terribly expensive, so it's a great buy overall, especially when you're trying to build the first pieces of the armor that you would want to use in this game, and it's definitely one of the first things you should buy, because like I said, with the other like accessory type items, they go hand in hand with your main body armor and helmet. So overall, I do think this is definitely going to be the best item for foot armor within the game. So let's just go into our last category. Okay, last and certainly not least, we have the horse armor category. This is absolute the hands down best armor for your horse, and this is going to be the Imperial Scale Barding. And it's not that incredibly expensive, and it's a really good investment because you don't want your horse shot out from underneath you. And there's still the cost attached to it though, and there's cost with everything, but this is certainly worth the investment because it comes out to be the absolute best horse armor you can get within the game. The armor on this is a whopping 75 horse armor points, which is the highest and has more armor points than any other horse armor within the game. The next up would be the scale barding, or like the half scale barding, I'm not entirely sure, but the Imperial Scale Barding for horses is going to make out to be the best horse armor within the game. But that concludes the guide. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. But personally, I want to thank every single one of y'all for watching the video. I really appreciate you watching the video for this long. It really helps me so much when y'all watch the entire video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And thank you to every single one of y'all. You keep me so motivated, and all y'all subscribers, I really do appreciate every single one of y'all, which is about 880 right now as I'm making this video, and I'm not sure how many, but hopefully more when this is posted, because growth is always good. But thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart to every single one of you. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. This has been DroBlue. See y'all later.